Hi, I'm hoping you're having a good one. Today I'd like to talk about how I managed to shoot 30 videos within a single month. So let's dive right in. Hi, my name's Matt and I've started a new business, a videography business. And I've decided to document that whole process, more or less, so you can learn from my successes and avoid my mistakes. If that sounds like your cup of tea, do me a favor and subscribe. So let's start off with a little disclaimer. These 30 videos weren't individual videos. They were single videos that were finally put together, so they, well, basically made up for 10 final videos. And these 10 videos consisted of 3 individual clips or settings or scenarios, or I don't know how you want to call it. So basically I had to go out on 3 different shoots for one final video. There was the talking head stuff, there was the B-roll, and then there was some additional video that was shot to showcase a specific work piece. That being said, all this happened during a time frame of 21 days to be precise. And in this video I want to go over how I structured and planned and did all this so I wouldn't be too overwhelmed with work. And let's structure this in pre-production, production and post-production, so it's easier to, well, segment the preparation and shooting and so forth. First, the pre-production. The most important thing for me was to have a script, because I wanted everyone to say more or less the same, specific for his own business and own brand, but the questions that needed to be answered had to be written down, and the client had to know what they would be talking about. Therefore, we needed a script. Then I've set up an online calendar using Calendly so that the clients could book their time slots in a specific time bracket. And I used batch processing to minimize the effort on my part. Meaning that week 1 I've only shot the talking head stuff, week 2 I've shot all the B-rolls, and in week 3 I did this work piece. For the first part of the videos I've used a set. So everyone just came in, stood in this fixed set, and we've recorded the video. Important thing is that this fixed set allowed me to, well, basically set up shop and leave it there for the whole week. So I didn't have to carry around lights and all this stuff. So that made it quite simple to get this done efficiently. The second week we shot on location. That was a bit trickier because I had to physically get to each client's location and shoot the B-roll there. And especially tricky was that I had to shoot the proper B-roll that would fit the interview. And that wasn't always quite easy because on certain days they didn't exactly do what they told in the interview about. So twice I had to visit them twice in order to get all the necessary B-roll footage. In the third week we recorded this work piece in a fixed set environment again. Basically they had a table where they showcased their products and how they were made. And here again Calendly worked just flawlessly in scheduling all the different clients, and it was no big issue to record it. Another important thing in the pre-production phase was quite stressful, and that was to format all the cards, load up all the batteries, make sure that my lenses were clean every single evening. And I spent about an hour and a half each evening just getting my kit ready again to go on the shoot the next day. And that did cost a lot of, well, memory space. By the end of this month, I've filled 2 SSDs and backed them up on a 16 terabyte NAS, just to make sure that I didn't lose any footage. So that was probably the most stressful part in the pre-production, to make sure that the infrastructure for the horrendous amount of data was there. And just to be clear, this 30 days shooting was just the shooting. Pre-production, scripting and talking about what was to happen in the videos and where would it take place, how would we do it, how would we do this, would we do that, and so forth, was all done prior to this. So the real pre-production with figuring out what to put into the script started months prior to the actual video production. Then came the production side of things. And the most important things there was to have multiple SD cards formatted ready and all the batteries ready to handle long recording times. I've shot with 2 cameras, the A7 III and the ZV-1, just to be sure that I had enough footage no matter what. So the thing is, my biggest concern during the production phase was that I lost footage or audio. Everyone was mic'd up with the Rode Wireless Go 2, and on the ZV-1 was an external shotgun mic just to record backup audio. So the audio was covered 3 ways. Once inside the camera via the Rode Wireless Go 2, once onto the Rode Wireless Go 2 recorder or transmitter, and once onto the ZV-1 via a shotgun microphone. So I was absolutely certain that I had audio because I couldn't think about anything worse than losing footage or audio. Same goes for the video. I've deliberately shot on the A7 III because it had 2 SD card slots. Otherwise, everything would have been perfectly fine with the ZV-1. There wouldn't be any issue recording on the ZV-1, but I absolutely wanted to make sure that I had a fail-safe, and that was the dual card slot on my A7 III. Another thing that I was really happy about having with me on set were additional chargers, because I went through batteries like crazy. Even though the A7 III is quite easy on the batteries, I still needed 4 to 5 batteries a day, and I only have 3. Even worse on the ZV-1, I was constantly charging 2 batteries while I had 1 in the camera, because the battery life on the ZV-1 is about an hour max. And that's something you really have to keep in mind, that the battery life might ruin your shoot. So I really need to stress that this saved my behind, that I had enough batteries with me and that I had chargers on set, because the shooting days sometimes were 10 hours and 3 batteries just don't cut it. So, but that's about it on the production side. The post-production was more or less easy. I made sure that I only started post-production after I've finished shooting all the videos, so that I had everything in place and could just scrub through it. After that, I've uploaded all the video files to YouTube or Vimeo, depending on what service I preferred at the time, and gave it for revision. Another important thing about the revisions is that I pre-formatted a sheet which I've sent via email along the link, where the client was able to basically fill out a form, which in turn gave me an idea of what they wanted to change. And that made it quite easy to go through all the revisions, because sometimes when clients have the need for changes, they ramble on and scribble things down or send emails and WhatsApp and call you, and all gets mixed up. Therefore, it's really important that you put this into a pre-formatted file or spreadsheet, so you can, well, steer the revision process more or less. And the last thing that really helped me finish this task of 30 videos in 30 days was the fact that I limited revisions. In my earlier days, I didn't do that, which led to one client having had 41 revisions on his 3-minute video, because 2 people started arguing inside the company about doing this or doing this, and so it went back and forth. But that was basically it. So the whole pre-production phase was about 3 to 4 months, but just once a month we've met up and talked about it. So basically pre-production would have been 8 hours in total. And the production phase, 21 days, and pre-production phase was about 2 weeks, 2 to 3 weeks, till everything was a wrap. And I was quite happy at the end, because I've never shot that many videos in a month. I've learned a lot about videography in that month, because every client had a different scenario, and sometimes I needed a long lens, sometimes I needed a close distance focal length, and all that kept it interesting. And I'm really looking forward to getting more into this sort of one video project with more different clients. That being said, that's about it, about my 30-day experience. If you have any questions about that, don't hesitate to put it in the comments below. I'll happily answer all the questions that you have. And if you have any tips on how to improve such a workload, please comment that down below as well, because it would really help me out. And with that, I wish you a good week.